Hi, my name is Sean Daniel, and welcome to another episode of Better Days Rain. So, one of the things that we like to do here is we like to get different perspectives, different points of view on multiple pathway approaches to recovery. Firm believer that one approach doesn't work for everybody, and with the understanding that we're all kind of built different, we all take different approaches and believe in different things. And so today I've got a good friend of mine, AJ Garcia. He's in the studio with us, and we're gonna cover kind of like sober living, a little bit about
Yeah.
probation, a little bit about drug court. Um, so without further ado, I'd like to introduce AJ Garcia. AJ, how you
What's
doing, man?
going on, man? My name is AJ. Man, it's really good to be here, bro.
Yeah, I'm
It's a long
excited. I'm
time
excited.
coming. Yeah, I guess we'll just get a little quick summary on just who I am and so these guys
Yeah,
know.
please, please, please.
Um, so my name is AJ, of course. I've already said that. Um, 2000 or 2021, 2020, I believe, was around the year that I first originally got charged with possession of a controlled substance and was put on 3 years deferred. Those 3 years turned into 6 years very quick.
Yeah.
Very quick. Just not staying clean, man. Not into recovery, not into being serious about what I was doing. That's what originally got me sent into drug court in the first place, in around 2024, January 2024. I got put into drug court, and at the beginning, it's just it was a program that you get put into, and you got stipulations. You got a judge. You got to report once a week. Not only to the judge, but you got to report into the probation as well. And it's just they're really monitoring you, like 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 an eagle in the sky. You know what I'm saying? They're just wanting you to take drug tests. You got to do classes. I had to do SATP. I had to do IOP. I ended up going to ISF. Because I couldn't stay clean. I did a 6 month program over there, and I got out, and it was real tough. You know what I'm saying? It was real hard for me to get through, but that's what got me into the doors of Senecor, which eventually led me into the doors of Senecor Sober Living.
Well, so before we touch on Senate like I want to touch on this drug court stuff a little bit. Like, what is your position? Like, how you graduated
Yeah,
drug
I
court here
just recently
recently,
graduated.
right? Um, so going through that process, how do you feel about it? Do you feel like it was a benefit to you? Do you feel like it was kind of just like more pressure? I mean, like, how do you
Um,
feel about the whole drug court scenario?
Man, drug court is one of those programs that you get into, dude, that you're really pressured into getting, sober, into recovery. It only works if you work it, man. There's people who go into that program and they don't make it out. You know what I'm saying? They don't make it all three phases. There's people in there who phase one all the way for about, and phase one only lasts you 2 to 3 months. There's some people who do it 4 to 5 months, man. They can't make it out that first phase.
Right.
Because there's so many um you know bumps in the road and so many obstacles that you have to acquire. So like one of the big ones that they have, you have to do a 90 and 90, which is 90 meetings in 90 days. You have to journal everything, and you have to have a job,
Right.
and that's like the main thing. And then housing, they expect you to have some sort of housing in a safe environment. If they feel like wherever you're sleeping at or wherever you're laying at is not safe and is not recovery, they will mandate you to go somewhere. But there's just a lot that goes into it that the judge requires you to have. Not only do you have to pass UAs, you have color call.
I was about to ask you about
Yeah.
that. So what is that color call?
So color call, at the beginning of drug court, you're issued a certain color. I think there's like pink, green, there's white, silver. I think there's like maroon, several colors. Mine was pink. Um, I never really got the truth on it, but I feel like the color coordinated based on amount of drug use and what your
Right.
drug choice is, what your DLC is. And so every Saturday and Sunday, you have to make a phone call between 6 and 8 a.m. If you call that number, it'll be your probation officer, whoever it is at the time for drug court. We all have the same probation officer, but call that. It's like pre-recorded, and it tells you the date, the time, and what color is being called. And so if your color is called on Saturday, you have, I think, till 10 a.m. to report to Randall County and do a UA or a mouth swab, and on Sundays you got till 2 p.m.
So, like in doing that, so you have a job, right?
Hmm.
How does that? How were you able to manage that with your job?
Really, your job has to be very understanding, dude, because you don't know to the day of. You
Right.
know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, from what I understand, it's like you could find out like an hour.
Yeah,
You
you don't
know.
get a lot of time, and that's the whole point. They don't want you. They don't want to give you any time to take any antioxidants or cleaning. They want you to do something wrong so you can go there and get to that random, and if you fail, oh
Right.
man.
But it's like, but I guess what I'm trying to say, how does your job treat that?
Well, my job, was very understanding, with reporting, and if I was gonna be late, I was gonna be late. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, for me, drug court was a priority. You know,
Right. Right.
if I had to miss work to go do that, then I was gonna go do it because the way I see it, if I did not do that, then I'm gonna miss work for the next 3 to 9 months. You know what I'm saying?
I guess my next question to that is, so have you ever seen people like lose their jobs because of
Yeah,
protocol,
yeah,
and then like possibly get violated for not being
yeah.
able? So it's kind
It's
of like a
very possible.
you know what I'm saying?
It's it's uh it's very hard, man. Because there are some people who do have certain jobs that you know do you are working 12 to 14 hour shifts. You have to get to work. You don't have PTO time. You can't do that. And a lot of jobs do work around probation, but stuff like this, drug court adds on so much things that it's like you have something to do every single day, and you may not have the time. A lot of people got kids, man. You know what I'm saying? They don't got time to be doing all this. But
Right.
the fact is that's the whole point of drug court. They want to load your plate up with so much, and it is overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? It is, dude.
What kind of turnover do you see? I mean, like success to failure ratio that you saw throughout your period of drug court. Like, what did that look like?
Not a lot of people get through it, bro. It's a program that I do not recommend that you should be get yourself into, but it's a good program that once you do it, it will help you so much. You know what I'm saying? With bettering yourself and getting on your feet, because that's what it's for. And but that phase one, man, there's so much stuff you got to do, and it doesn't get easier to get to phase three, because phase one you report every week, twice a week, once to the judge, once to your probation officer, and once you get phased up to phase two, that goes every 2 weeks. And then phase three, every 1 week until the day you graduate. But it's just it's a program that's built on building structure. You know,
Right. Right.
that's the whole point of it, is to build some sort of foundation to get on your feet and learn how to manage your time.
Right.
So that's really what it is.
And so we met in AA.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like if you had to compare the two, like drug court versus just recovery programming, which one do you think would be more beneficial?
Uh, guess that would depend on what you're trying to achieve, man. If you're trying to achieve sobriety and just um, you know, a different outlook on life, AA is the place to go. You know what I'm saying? On how you love yourself and how you. But drug court, that's all. Foundation. That's how you build a life.
Right.
It's structure. It's getting on your feet in a sense of trying to figure out how to handle certain things. 'Cause they'll help you, man. They'll help you with housing. You know what I'm saying? If you can't afford, for women who have kids, there's a lot of females in there who are involved in CPS. So they help with that. You know what I'm saying? They help you with a lot of your legal troubles when it comes to trying to afford a living situation for your family and for yourself. Uh, Drug court for me helped me manage like my life on how I do things. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I couldn't just have a job and 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 not control probation. You know what I'm saying? I had to be able to report on time. I had to be able to pass UAs, but it was good. You know what I'm saying? I think I thank the judge a lot, man, because he seen me come very far. When I first walked into those doors, man, I was real hard headed. Uh, I had no manners. You know what I'm saying? I would talk to the judge like,
Crazy.
yeah, you know what I'm saying, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I remember at the beginning, man, like whenever he gave me an ultimatum basically, and I signed the papers with a lawyer to do this little 9 month program, and it took me a year and a half to complete. It's a 9 month program, dude.
Yeah.
But that's how long it took me because I couldn't phase up, I couldn't do what they required me to do. Um, but they uh they helped me a lot with just wanting to get done with probation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like on a scale of getting done with the legal stuff, drug court's gonna be your ticket out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That on paper, that's what's gonna help you. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Yeah, I never been through drug court. But I did go through sober living at
Yeah.
another chance house. I was there for about 14 months, and I went there voluntarily.
Mhm.
You know, so I think I kind of got the good side of it, and you went to Synacor voluntarily, correct?
Yeah. Well, the judge mandated me to do 30 days in Senate. It's either that or get locked back up.
So how long you been there now?
At sober living? Well, I went there. Uh, I left Senate in April of 2024, and I went to sober living the following week, and I stayed there for maybe about 4 months. And I was in a relationship. Things looking good. We got a house, we got a car, and the relationship started getting rocky. So I moved out, and still sober, still clean. I was caught up on my payments when I left, so the doors were wide open for me, man. It's an easy way to get back into. The lady that runs the house, arms wide open, dude. She let me come back, so I've been there since now of October 2024.
Okay,
So I'm still there, still leading. You know what I'm saying? Still helping a lot of the new guys that come in there.
that's what's up. So like being a sober living, being around, people that are just coming into the door. What do you see as like a big bump in the road for people coming into sober living? Like what do you see that makes it so difficult?
Um,
Because it takes some courage to step through that door.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because you have to admit that you got a problem, and then you have to rely on other people to help you out with it, and then you have to trust people that
yeah,
they're not going to burn you on the back end. And so I think those are like three really big components that make it really difficult getting into sober living.
yeah. It's one of those things that when you first walk in, dude, like it's like they're throwing you in a lion's den. You gotta hurry up and get a job because you got rent. You know what I'm saying? That first Friday is gonna come up. Rent's due that first Friday. You know what I'm saying? No matter
Yep.
what day you come in, so you need to get that paid in. And then we have certain speculations on you got chores, man. And right now the house is good, man. We have a really good house, man.
You know.
I don't see a single guy in there that I have any doubt that the recovery is not what it is. So we have a really good class right now. But then you also have curfew, and that's what gets a lot of people, man. Is that curfew?
What's y'all's curfew over there?
So Sunday through Thursday is 10 p.m.
That's not too bad.
You know what I'm saying? Fridays and Saturdays it's 11. But
Do they have like a lights out?
no, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to go to sleep, but you got people that work different hours of the night, so you need to
Right.
be real quiet. But like I work nights, so that's fine. If you're at work past curfew, that is fine. Uh, as long as you come right back after. Uh, but a lot of guys who don't, what I'm saying, who are freshly coming in, dude, I get it. You ain't seen your family in a month or so, and you want to go spend time, and you want to go do that. That's cool, bro. Go handle your business. Go handle your family time. But you need to walk in through these doors, but
Yeah.
like at least 30 minutes before. You know what I'm saying? Give you some space. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Some guys want to clock in. We had a kid just recently, man. He came in 15 minutes late. You got UA'd, stuff like that, and he ended up having to walk out the door that same night.
Yeah.
And they're real stern on that, dude. They'll make you pack up 12 o'clock at night, dude. They don't care. You got to
That's
get
kind
out.
of crazy to me.
It is, man.
It's kind of crazy. I know, like when I was at another chance house, They had a real strict 10 o'clock curfew. That
Mhm.
was every night. It didn't change. But and I mean the door's locked.
Yeah.
So if you showed up at 10:01, you couldn't get in.
Yeah, our door's locked too,
And
but
then the next morning when you showed up, you know, you had to go to the counselor's
yeah.
option. You had to explain yourself to why you was out all night,
Mhm.
what you were doing in UA and all that kind of stuff. Um, what do a lot of people make it through Cinecore?
Like, dude,
Like, well, so like, is it a program or is it just sober living? Like, do you actually do programs like they're like life skills or?
so no,
or
yeah, we don't have any of that, man. What we do have is like we have like an in-house meetings on
Right.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, but that's like within ourselves. We used to have guys, from outside meetings come and share with us. Um, Eventually, I guess their schedules changed, so they couldn't come out no more.
Right.
But we do it within ourselves. So we have house leaders, which I'm one of those house leaders of four. There's four of us, and we get together and we do what we can to make those meetings, better.
Do you see like the new guys kind of latching on to you a little bit? Like, because I noticed for me, like once I got a little bit of sober time,
Yeah.
once I started doing things, like people start noticing it. You know, do you look behind you and see it? Like, do people come to you for
Not
advice?
as many as I want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But there is some guys in there, man. Like, man, they'll come and talk to me, bro. And like that's why I'm there. I'm house counselor, so that is my job. You know what I'm saying? Of being one of the leaders in the house to be able to. You come talk to me in a time of need before you make a decision that you might regret. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I
right,
can help you get your
right.
head on a little straight. But there's some guys in there, man, like they don't, you know what I'm saying? They do good by themselves, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to be involved with everybody else in the house. They just want to just go home, go to work, come back, pay the
Handle
rent.
business.
You know what I'm saying? Handle their business. They chill in their room 10 hours. That's fine with me. Uh, I just feel like a lot of guys should do more recovery outside of that house.
Right.
Uh, some guys go to the gym, dude. You know what I'm saying? Some guys read books. Some dudes play video games. Whatever their MO is on staying sober, as
Right.
long as it works, it works.
Yeah, as long as it works, right?
You know what I'm saying?
You know, so you said you left back in April of last
Mhm.
year, right? Um, things got rocky with the girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Like in that situation, like, did you really feel overwhelmed at that, and that's why you went back to sober living,
Yeah,
or
yeah, most definitely, dude. They tell you, in recovery when you're first in center court, do not get in a relationship that first year. And I met this girl in recovery, dude. And we were sober
13 stepper.
together. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We were sober together and stuff like that. It was a really good relationship, dude. Don't get me wrong, you know what I'm saying? Uh we just started having problems, emotionally connected. I wasn't fully connected like I should have been.
Yeah.
Um and I knew I couldn't go back to my mom's, man. Love my mom to death, but that house has so many demons that I've created
I hear you.
that I knew if I went back, I was not gonna last very long.
So you were feeling the itch.
Yeah,
You were
already,
feeling,
you know
you
what I'm
feeling
saying?
the
Like
itch.
I knew, and we lived, me and this girl's house was literally in SJ, man. Like
Right.
I'm not talking like a block or two away. Six streets right there, and I knew if I spent any more time out there,
Yeah.
eventually I was gonna make a decision,
A bad
and
one.
a bad decision.
Yeah.
So I made a quick one, man. My dad, my stepdad came to pick me up, and packed all my stuff in the car. And as we're heading to my mom's, drop my stuff off. He's like, "What are you gonna do?" And I look at him. I was like, "Call him Miss Sheila, man." you
You're
know?
getting back.
Yeah. And I called her. I think I called. At the time was Laura Hawkins. She was running it, and I called her and let her know the issue of what I was going through. And she said, "If you come up with $150, you can come back." So I called my cousin because I didn't have any money at the time, and I just paid rent at this house in San Jacinto.
Right.
Called my cousin, told him what was going on, and no hesitation, man, he helped me out. Thank God. Thank God for that. Thank God for the support system that I have, dude.
So you get good family support.
Yeah, I have really good family support, and it's always been there. I just for a long time I just didn't use it correctly. Because for a long time my family was the type to not let me borrow any money.
Right.
They wouldn't. If I walk in their house, where's he going?
So I guess so. I take it you kind of done this thing on your own, but without having support, and then you've also done it with having
Yeah.
support. what where's the gains there? Like was it easier for you to do it by yourself, or was it easier to do it? You know what I'm saying, when you had your family back in your play.
I feel like a lot of the times family does help out, man. For me, it did, but it helped me with more of the emotional aspect on how I viewed the situation. Because I could have done it by myself.
Right.
Recovery, I could have took myself to meetings, took myself to Center Core, I could have did all that. But the fact that I had, uh, my mother, my stepfather, my sisters, kind of looking out for me and just,
Giving you that push.
yeah, what I'm saying, like just to know that I'm still loved. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a point in my life, man, where me and my family didn't get along. You know what I'm saying? Because of my addiction. I wasn't. My sister used to not. She used to not allow her kids around my space and they couldn't go in my room.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because she didn't know what was in my room. So
right. You didn't want to know.
yeah, you want to know what was in my room. And then just for the simple fact that I couldn't be around, certain people, persons, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just the stuff that I did in my addiction, man. I had a lot of regrets. Uh, stealing money from my own sister, dude.
I was about to ask. So, what's the difference between the AJ in addiction and the AJ in sobriety or in recovery? Let's say.
Man, AJ in addiction is somebody who's just full of hate, full of anger. The world's against me.
Yeah.
I don't, and I don't need nobody. You know what I'm saying? I could do it on my own. I'm good at it on my own, but I'm gonna do it in a way where very sneaky, very
It's a shady life.
yeah, very shady. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was a really hateful person, man, and to the point to where I wasn't even going out for fun. I was going out to to do something to cause chaos. You know what I'm saying? To cause destruction. But AJ is sober. Somebody who's very looking out for the little guy, trying to help the next person. You know what I'm saying? Because I know how it is.
Ain't it kind of weird how that happens?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like in addiction, we're like these, menace to society.
Yeah.
So when we get sober, like it changes your whole outlook and perspective on our, meaning and purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like in my addiction, dude, I was a tornado that ran through everything.
Yeah.
And then when I finally started grasping this recovery thing, and I realized what I wanted to do in my life, which is, help people in recovery, help get people into recovery. And it's a complete 180 from the psycho I was in addiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of cool because, like, there's a lot of people that I associate with today that appreciate that.
Yeah.
Sure. You look at some of these people and you say, man, like that person would never respect me, or that person would never understand me, because you're scared they're going to look at that old you.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you put on this new you know what I'm saying, you go through this self-discovery phase and you start giving back to what was so freely given to you, like people respect it. You know what I mean? Like I'm a mentor to kids and to and I'm not somebody really who's spent a whole life being a positive role model.
I would have never thought that I was somebody people would look up to, man. Like it was never. You would ask me a year ago, am I gonna be somebody that somebody's gonna ask me for advice and ask me how I did it? I would have looked at you like, I don't know, trying to figure it out myself. And now it's just I have so much to offer, man, and a lot of the stuff that I talk about nowadays, man, it's just a repeat of what I learned from somebody else, dude. You know what I'm saying? The advice I'm giving you is the advice somebody gave to me.
With renewed ambition.
You know what I'm saying? With renewed ambition. That's all it is. It's just in my words, and that's all it is. So, yeah, I think the most of it was in addiction, man. I didn't have no higher power. Like I believed in God and I prayed and stuff, man, but I didn't believe that I could be saved.
Yo, I was the same way, bro. I was notorious for putting God on the shelf.
Yeah, like he's there whenever I need you to take a problem from me. But as soon as I'm good and I'm dandy and I'm living out in the free world,
it's all me.
It's all me, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember being in jail and I would read this Bible, front to back, dude, every day with the throw circle. You know what I'm saying? Of people. And I remember this old dude one time was like, "Do y'all even read the Bible outside of these walls?" And I was like, Hell no,
Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, I remember when I was in prison, man. When I went to prison, I told myself, I said, man, I'm not getting into the Bible. I'm not getting into
yeah,
God. I got myself here as a man. I'm gonna get myself out
yeah,
as a man. And that was a very ignorant way of thinking.
yeah,
You know
very
what I
ignorant,
mean?
man.
Like because like I mean I made it through it, but you know what I mean? Like I probably could have made it a lot easier on myself.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, for sure.
And then when I finally found God, you know what I mean? Like now it's like a warm blanket.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's a comfort. It's a reassurance. You know what I'm saying? That my life wasn't a waste.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like I can take my years of addiction and I can teach people how to avoid the things that I went
yeah. A lot of it goes into that finding a higher power, man. Finding some sort of you know safety net.
through.
So
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a belief you develop a trust.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like I think in our addiction that what I'm saying we don't trust nobody.
mm-mm.
I didn't trust my best friend.
No,
For good reason. For good reason. You know what I mean? Because they were gonna get me.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And then we will smile about it, laugh about it, and then tomorrow I'm gonna get them right back.
yeah,
You know, it was just kind of it's real shady. There's very little spirituality to it. You know what I mean? But once you start reflecting on your life and looking at all this stuff, you know, do you ever look back and just go, "Wow, like how was I doing that?"
yeah. No, it's a lot of it goes into how I treated myself and how I treated others. Just I just remember like every I'd walk into a room, man, and I wanted my back to the wall, and I'm looking at every exit, and
Oh
I'm
yeah,
looking at every possible person like I can pickpocket. You know what I'm saying?
oh yeah, yeah.
And that's what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And now I walk into a room, it's like I still got my back to the wall, dude. But it's like I'm not looking for the exits. I'm not looking for the weakest link in the room.
Oh yeah.
I'm
I
not
used
trying
to
to
I used
do
to tell people in
things.
AA, we get big old meeting, there'd be like 30 people in there. I'd be like, in my addiction, 30 people in the room, that's 30 targets.
Yeah,
I'm plotting on
on
30 people.
everybody.
I'm
You know what I'm
plotting on
saying? I'm
every single
figuring out how I
person
can
in
get a
this
dollar
room.
from each and every one of you. Cause
You know what I
that's,
mean?
you know
Like
what I'm saying?
I'm gonna
30. I
make
get
a
a dollar
move
from I
sooner
get a
or
dollar from
later.
each of you.
By the time I get out this building, everybody gonna pay.
Everybody. You know what I'm saying? And
Everybody
it
gonna
didn't
pay.
matter what it was, dude. It didn't matter what it was. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, and
It didn't have to directly be money. If it could be something that was worth selling, shit, take it.
I used to always think like, say I'm gonna walk in a room and teach these people a lesson.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna show my
I
butt, and I'm gonna teach these people a lesson. And now you walk in the room and it's like, man, I just focus on being a blessing.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I love helping people.
I
I like
do. I think I take pride in it, man. Like, so another background, I've worked construction for a lot of years on and off, and I've mainly in masonry, bricklaying, and even though I'm not a bricklayer, working with bricklayers to see a house go from nothing to something, I've put that same pride that I have in that into people.
yeah,
Saying I like to see somebody who's not necessarily saving them, but who's just broken, and helping them find themselves,
build
helping them
themselves up,
build
build them up.
themselves up.
Yeah,
Because whenever I see them, like 6 months from now, I'm like, hell yeah, you know what I'm saying?
and it's cool when you're doing
It's
that.
good. It's good to see, man.
When you're helping people build themselves up, you're creating hope
Yeah,
for that person. You know what I mean? And that's something here at Better Days Rain we are really big on is creating hope,
yeah.
and we do that through self improvement. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
the most important thing.
We improve ourselves, and it kind of goes on that it's based on attraction,
Yeah,
not promotion. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like when people see you come from where you come from, especially people that are close to you, people that have been around you for some time, when they see you climbing that ladder, elevating yourself, it makes people behind you want to do the
hmm
same thing.
It's the progress, not perfection. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
you
saying?
know
I
what I
love
mean?
it.
Like it's just it creates hope for the
Yeah.
people coming into the program, for people coming into recovery. It's all people building people.
hmm
You
And
know,
it's not easy, man. Like, it's one of those things like we talked about the other day. Like, somebody who works out every day, you can go and you can work out every single day. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna that 100-pound weight. You know, you work out every day. 3 months from now, 100-pound weight is going to be easy. But you take a week off, you go back to the gym. It's a
Yeah, I
little
discovered
different.
that last night. I got on my bench press at the house, and I
Yeah, you
wasn't
know what I'm
really
saying? It's
happy with
not the
myself.
same. So
You know,
it's the hard part, man, is every day. Doing it every single day. And
yo,
you have to do same thing with recovery, dude. You have to do recovery every single. There's a couple days, been a couple weeks, man, where I've missed like a whole 2 weeks without AA, and I just feel like I feel dirty, you know what I'm
oh
saying? Like,
yeah. No, I missed last week. I didn't go to any meetings
yeah.
last week, and like when I went to three, well, no, I went to two the day before yesterday, and then I went to three yesterday, and I was salty with myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was just like,
Just feels like you
you
unplugged for a little bit and you just got away.
you know, and when you do that, you kind of you throw yourself out of whack. That
Yeah.
balance that's there, you know what I'm saying? Because like for me, you know, to be able to you know sponsor people and mentor people, come in here and do the show, and you know do all this recovery stuff. Like I really have to stay in the zone.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it kind of my wife kind of gets upset with me sometimes. She's like, "Bro, does it always have to be recovery?" And I'm kind of
Right
like,
now, yeah.
yeah, it really does. You know what I
It
mean?
really
Like,
does. It really does
I
right
don't
now.
mean to be a jerk about it, but like, yes, it does. It absolutely
Yeah.
does. You know, because like I have to make sure that I'm physically okay. I
Yeah.
have to make sure that my mind's in the right spot, and I got to make sure I'm spiritually fit.
Yeah.
And when I'm lacking in one of those three areas, like everything goes off. I realize I start neglecting, you know,
Mhm.
people. Yeah, I start neglecting meetings. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I fall off. You know what I'm saying? I'm not making the phone calls I should. I'm not reaching out to my mentors the way I should.
Yeah.
You know, it was like this morning. I went up to another Chance house, and you know, first thing I walked the door, everybody was really happy to see me, but I ain't been up there in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody's kind of looking at me like, "Where you been, bro? You
Yeah.
know, we ain't seen you. Where you been?" Because I
They
go,
depended on it.
yeah, well, because I volunteer up there every single day.
Yeah.
I go up there every morning, you know, and I just go up there to kind of just talk to the guys, you know, be an ear for them to listen
Yeah.
to, you know, and you know, just volunteer my time.
Yeah.
And you know, they noticed it. Like they noticed it when I wasn't there. They noticed it, you know. So I came
You
in.
didn't. You didn't notice it was, but like the effect that you put on them
Oh
people.
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Like it makes a huge difference when your face is not seen.
Yeah. It
You
really
know,
does.
it was even you know last week you're here at the studio. You know, I got a call from my coach, and he's like, "Bro, where you at? Ain't seen you in 3 or 4 days. What's going on?" You
Yeah.
know, and I'm sitting at the house just being salty.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I have a guy at the sober living, dude. We got real close and we talk every single day, dude. And if we miss us, if I don't call him or I don't check in with him, like you know, what I'm saying, just chop it up. Sometimes we're not even really talking about recovery. We're just talking about life. If I don't answer that, bro, he'll come late at night. He'll go check the sign in sheet, see if I sign back in. And if I'm there, he knows I'm up playing the game.
yeah.
So he knock on my door. What's up, man? You gonna talk to me today? Like I don't even really like that, but it's the fact that we hold each other accountable in every situation. So it's like we don't miss a beat. You know what I'm saying? Got to see how we are every single day, man.
Yeah, you just got to maintain it.
Yeah, it's maintain the relationship.
maintaining life management. I guess
Yeah.
you could say. You know what I mean? Because that's really what when you boil recovery, addiction recovery. That's really what it is. It's just
Yeah.
life management, learning to live life
Step
on
one.
life's terms.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
step
And
one.
people don't understand. Like for an addict, that's really hard.
Yeah,
You know, for me, I have a very obsessive mind. So when I have a problem, it dominates
hmm
everything I'm doing until I can address that problem
yeah,
or give it to God. And a lot
Yeah.
of times, I'm not thinking give it to God. You know what I mean? A lot of times,
you gotta do it.
I gotta do it.
Yeah,
You know what I
gotta
mean? I
fix the
gotta
problem.
do
I
it.
gotta fix this because
You
no one
know?
else is gonna do it for me.
Yeah,
I gotta
you know
do
what
it
I mean?
myself, and that's the mentality. It's a strong mentality, but it's sometimes you gotta leave it to God, man. There's some things you can't control.
That's right. You know what I mean? So, in closing, is there anything else you would like to tell the audience, family, friends, you know, anybody
Um,
coming into recovery?
man, man let you know for real, man. Like if you really want to do this recovery thing, man, it's not just walking into the doors of Center Core. You know what I'm saying? It's not just staying sober just today. Even though it's a big one, man, staying sober just today is a big part of it. But you got to have a plan. You know what I'm saying? You guys set yourself up for what are you gonna do 6 months from now.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And what are you gonna do? You know, I didn't know I was gonna go to sober living, dude. You know what I'm saying? The plan was simple. I was gonna do my 30 days in center court, come out and do what I wanted to do. You know? It wasn't until maybe 2-3 weeks in I got introduced and I said, hey, I'm gonna go to sober living. You know what I'm saying? I got to sober living and everything changed, man. You know what I'm saying? And now, you know, me being off probation, you know, everything, I got no more stipulations. The plan is now is to try to get to a career. Like, you know, I really want to check out the railroads. Go like find like a union job, you know. Find a job that can, you know, I can retire off of. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And take care of my family 40, 50 years from now. You know what I'm saying? And that's the plan, that's the goal that I have. But right now, you know, I'm not fast tracking into the career. You know, I'm waiting, being patient, you know, waiting for my time. And right now, strictly recovery, dude.
It's all in God's time, bro.
Strictly
It'll
recovery,
happen.
yeah.
It'll
You know what I'm
happen,
saying?
man. Just
I'm
keep
trying
doing
to,
that next right
yeah.
thing.
I'm
Keep
trying to
doing
do
that
the
next
next
right
thing,
thing.
help the next person. You know, main priority is just getting people involved into recovery, be a helping hand. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome,
Step
bro.
12 in these dudes now. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
absolutely.
Helping the
absolutely.
next alcoholic drug
AJ,
addict.
I want to appreciate you coming on the
Hell
show,
yeah,
bro. I had a good time. I'm glad
Thank
you came
you.
out. And we are signing off.
Thank
Y'all have a great weekend.